Visalaw is the first immigration intelligence platform built by immigration lawyers for immigration lawyers. We built it to support every area of an immigration law firm's work, not just research, not just drafting, but the full practice of immigration law, restoring attorneys' time for client advocacy. It starts with data. Visalaw AI is built on the largest and most robust immigration law dataset available, curated by immigration attorneys and continuously updated. Every feature, workflow, and AI capability is grounded in authoritative immigration law. The platform is built with enterprise-grade security, and customer data is never retained or used to train AI models. Our improved case law tools deliver faster, deeper legal analysis with clear authority, stronger context, and reliable citations you can trust. Our new research agent goes further. It identifies your practice area, checks live government sources for policy changes through GovSync, searches the full catalog of US case law, statutes, and regulations when needed, and verifies every citation before results reach you. Visalaw AI. This is immigration intelligence you can trust.
Welcome in, Tyler. Glad to have you joining us today. I'm really excited about Visalaw 2.0, as everybody just saw in the video. That is something we've been touting this month, and it's just around the corner at this point. And Tyler, it's going to be a big change for, especially current customers. It's going to look a bit different. It's the same product you know and love. In fact, it's even better. It's been improved. The engine works faster. The compute that we have behind the scenes that helps get you your answers. And it's just an all around improved experience for the user, simplified to make sure that everything works seamlessly. So we're really excited about that. We actually have on Thursday a webinar that people will get your first look and get to see all of the different things that go along with that. So I'm going to put that in the chat here in just a moment if anybody is interested in attending that webinar as well. You can also go back, and if you haven't, if you registered for this webinar, you have the means to register for that webinar as well through email or however else you found it through LinkedIn. So anyway, that's my plug for Visalaw 2.0. I'm really excited for us to get back to some of those sessions. We have intentionally been doing a lot of drafting sessions this month because of the updates that we're providing to the overall product. And I know you're excited as well, Tyler, because I think a lot of the things that we're doing in Visalaw 2.0 are a lot of the things you hear every day from immigration attorneys that they're looking for in terms of their legal research and document Q&A features, different kinds of prompts specifically built for immigration processes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think probably what I'm most excited for, it's a much more intuitive platform. Or I shouldn't say it's a much more intuitive way to use the core functionality that we already have that is being revamped a little bit. If you're on the call, you're just starting your AI journey. It can be a little bit intimidating to find the right tools to find and utilize AI in an ethical and efficient way. And if you're not an expert in AI, I think it's going to be a much easier system to pick up and utilize, whether you've never used AI before, or even if you're a veteran using AI. So very excited for the changes, and would absolutely recommend you all to join the webinar on Thursday to get a sneak peek of what's coming as soon as within the next week. So we're all really excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got to put that link in the chat. I totally forgot. I was so mesmerized by what you were saying. So I'm going to put a poll in the chat. This is a really excellent way just to get started. If anybody, as you're joining us, a couple of housekeeping items. One, answer this poll. How many H-1Bs does your firm handle a year? Type 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat to answer. That is an excellent practice point for asking questions today. Use the chat, which I'm dumping the link for Visalaw 2.0 into in just a moment. It's a great, if you have any questions today as we discuss anything, we want to answer those. So feel free to use the chat here as I put our link in. And answer that poll. Let us know how many H-1Bs you're handling in a year. Well, it's just really great context for us as we get going and discuss discuss how we can help scale this process, which is a repetitive one. You're handling a lot of these every year. Yeah, you can see, yeah, somebody's answered 400 plus in your firm. That is not surprising one bit. H-1Bs are high volume work, they're repetitive, and they're time sensitive, but they still require expert level drafting. And to get to your point, to standardize your drafting process, you probably have templates that work really, really well. And you can templatize 70 to 80% of H-1B work. But there is still the 20 to 30% that you need to leverage your expertise and your judgment as a lawyer. And this is really where Visalaw can help step in to help standardize this, to help structure your arguments and get you that first draft so that you really can scale your H-1B work effectively. So with that, Tyler, let's go ahead and get to the product, and I'm going to let you show us exactly what we can do with Visalaw.
Absolutely. So just to provide a brief overview of the platform as we're jumping in here, whether you're this is your first time joining us for a demo or a webinar, we are an immigration intelligence platform. So we are one platform, all very specific to the practice of immigration law, designed to help you throughout the lifespan of the case. However, the bulk of our functionality you'll see is going to be built around AI-powered legal research, AI petition drafting. This is going to be our dashboard view that we're greeted with. This is really going to be the screen that is most impacted by 2.0, the update we have coming, within the next week. And so this will look a little bit different even on the next webinar on Thursday. So we're excited to show you what that looks like. But today we are going to be focused, as Ian mentioned, specifically on drafts. So we're going to jump directly into our drafting tool, which is going to take us to this screen here, which we refer to as our draft library. The draft library is where I can see all of the individual cases, briefs, petitions, waivers, etc., that I've been working on, all sorted by the date created here. You'll see that most of these drafts that I have are all completed projects, so I can come back and access any completed project. I can share them with other members, download them, etc. from here. But we're going to walk through the process of creating that new draft, specifically an H-1B from scratch, on today's demo. As we go through this, I'll kind of reiterate, please feel free to put any questions in the comment. We're going to have more than enough time on today's call to answer questions. So please don't hesitate to put those questions into the comment, and we'll kind of pause throughout the demo to get to those. So I'm going to come up here to new draft, and we're going to create that project here. We'll see here, this is going to open up the new draft process type. And we're just going to work down this list of steps one by one as we go down here. The first step is going to be to select the process type that we're going to work on today. I do want to slowly scroll down this list just so everyone can get an idea of the different process types that we support as of today. We do a healthy mix of both family and humanitarian process types, but also business and employment. So as you can see, we do everything from asylum briefs, cancellation of removals, EB1s, EB2 NIWs, H-1Bs, which is what we're going to focus on today. We also do the H-1B NIEs as well. We support Ls, motions to reopen, Os, O1Bs. We do 601 and 601A waivers. We did recently release R1s. We also support T visas, TNs, travel ban NIEs, U visas, as well as VAWAs. So this is a list of what our process types look like as of today. We typically will release new process types on a monthly basis, I would say conservatively. So if you jump on a demo with us later in May, you may see some new process types being added to this list. If there are any process types that you don't see here that you think would be really helpful, feel free to put those in the comments as well. It is definitely one way that we prioritize the new process types that our team is working on. So feel free to let us know what we're missing. But we're going to select the H-1B for today's webinar, and we're going to provide that project with a name. Typically, we'll use something a little bit more relevant to the case or the client here. You'll find I'm not that creative, so I'm going to put in H-1B in today's date, and that's going to work for us for demo purposes today. Now, Visalaw is a tool that is best utilized across the entire firm or organization or team. With that being said, we do have the ability to share this with other members of my organization that might be working on this project alongside me here. So I can just simply share this with them, type in their name or email address, and they'll have access to the project as well. But once we have the name and the process type filled in here, we can click next, and that's going to move us on to the second step in our process, which is going to be the file upload step. As the name would suggest, this is going to be the step where we upload all the files that we're going to include as evidence for this case. These are going to be all the supporting documents we're uploading for this case. On my other screen, I am going to drag and drop just a folder of supporting documents for the system to start processing. You'll see here, I did have the ability to upload the entire folder. I have 17 documents or 17 files that I'm uploading for this case. And the system is going to immediately begin processing those files once I do drop them in here. It is important to note that I do have to be working with an extracted folder. As long as that folder has been extracted, I do have the ability to upload that folder. It looks like we've got a couple lingering documents here. Let me give this a refresh.
And this is one of the steps as well, just as a note. When you are using Visalaw AI, and we may have current customers in the call as well, as people who are maybe just learning about what Visalaw AI can do. With the document upload step, it's always best to have all the documents that you want uploaded on the front end. That's how you're going to get the best results. You don't necessarily have to do that. You can always go in and maybe get what you have. You're waiting on one document or the other, and you want to just go ahead and get an output and then maybe work on that manually. And that's also an incredibly valid way to do it. But if you want a best step if you want the best output from the AI on the front end, having all of your documents in at one time is going to give you the best output possible, because the AI is drawing from what you put in. It's not. This is the difference between Visalaw AI and Frontline, sort of ChatGPTs, Claudes. Those are searching the internet, so they don't necessarily need all of your documents, because they will guess and they will make hallucinations about what the case may be. And also, it's not if you're not using an enterprise software, it's definitely not something you want to do. But with Visalaw AI, none of those things are. All those things are baked in. That's fundamental to how we built the product. So why it's important to also have all those documents.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. We'll make sure that we have all of the relevant supporting documents for that case prior to moving on in the step, or we'll kind of have to go back and redo those steps at the end of the day. So, once we do receive green check marks next to each document in that file upload step, we can move on to the exhibit list step, which is what we're looking at here. So the process or the end result of what we're working through right now is to get the petition packet. That will include the cover letter, but also the index of documents and the list of exhibits. As a result of that, this is going to be the step where we review our exhibit list to ensure that documents are named appropriately, they're in the appropriate order, and they're grouped correctly as well. So there's a lot of functionality that we'll work through on this step alone. I can do a lot of manual things here. So I do have the ability just to grab this hamburger icon over here on the right-hand side, and I can just simply drag and drop these documents into the appropriate order here. So I can manually adjust the order. I do also have the ability to upload a supporting document for the AI to utilize in the cover letter, but also choose whether or not to include that in the exhibit list here. Now, if I were to click next, the system is intelligent enough to know where these documents should be utilized in the cover letter. I don't have to come in and tell the AI where to use these documents. But I do have the ability to come in and click this plus icon to tell or tag the documents into specific sections. I have the ability to tag those documents in the event that I only wanted these documents or this document to be eligible to be used in a handful of sections. I have the ability to tag those sections here. Again, this is not mandatory. This is just an extra level of control that I do have in the event that I wanted to manually tell the AI where to use these documents.
And as you wrap up that point,
Yeah.
Tyler, we do have a question here on document upload. It seems to take a while to upload documents. What is the regular time to upload documents for H1B? Yeah, if you want to go ahead and.
I think so with that, I think that one only took us about 15 to 20 seconds to upload 17 files. So I would say typically when I'm doing demos, for most of the process types that I'm working on, I have somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 30 documents for each case that I upload. It usually takes at or below 30 seconds to upload those files. I'll say that it is kind of subject to your Wi-Fi speed a lot of times. So if it's taking longer than that, it could be your local Wi-Fi. But I haven't had it load for more than a minute when I've been doing it in the past. So
yeah, and I would also say, there's some variability. I think our typical upload times are actually on par with all of our sort of frontline AI, peers like ChatGPT and Claude. The difference is a lot of the times, we're uploading documents that there's quite a bit of information, and it just takes a minute for the system to process it all. But it is sort of on par with all of these others. We're just not typically uploading so many documents into those other softwares. So, if you ever do experience maybe some latency, it might be worth, checking your, the Wi-Fi speeds. Maybe it's just a little bit of a delay there. Couldn't hurt to refresh the page every once in a while as well if you ever experience latency like that. If you just feel like you need to tab off of it and let things upload and maybe answer an email or two, that's also certainly a valid way to use the product.
Absolutely. Yeah, and let us know if you are having in your environment difficulties with that, and we're happy to take a look to make sure that everything's it's not a system issue or a user error or something like that.
Yeah, support at Visalaw.ai if you are a current customer. I'm going to go ahead and put their email in the chat. In case you do run into anything that you feel like you need extra support with, they are happy to help. We do have one more question here as well. Do files need to be OCR'd before uploading, or can Visalaw automatically convert files to OCR?
Yeah, so it is OCRing the files by default. So great question. That is, if the AI, if it is taking a little bit longer to load for a specific case, I would point to that. It is OCRing those documents as you're uploading it. So when I receive the green check marks next to each document, it is letting me know that the upload is complete and the documents have been OCR'd. And that's really the secret sauce in that document upload, is the system is reading through all those supporting documents and understanding how it's going to utilize those supporting documents for the cover letter. So great question. So keep the questions coming as we continue on here. But the next thing I'll show, so we just showed the ability to tag documents to specific sections. It is an optional step in the event that I wanted a manual level of control to tell these documents or tell the AI where to use these documents. I also have the ability to select all the documents, and I can lean on the AI to create those section tags using AI here. If I do this, the AI is going to do that process for me. So it's going to look at all the supporting documents, and on the front end, tell me where it's planning to use these documents throughout the cover letter here. Again, completely optional, but this is what I would do if I wanted to see where the AI was planning to use these documents prior to me finalizing the draft. I also have the ability, if I needed to review the history, and I can simply undo any changes that I made. So I can roll back the changes made to the section tagging. And I do see another question just in regards to the file size limit for uploads. It is going to be a 10 megabyte upload limit. If you're experiencing that is too low, feel free to reach out to us as well. We are potentially looking at some product enhancements that could help there. It also could be a scenario where you're compiling documents into one PDF and then uploading that, where this is really designed to upload the individual documents. So feel free to connect with us on that if you're experiencing where that might not be enough storage for you. And we'll kind of walk through other avenues or potentially fill you in on some product enhancements that we might be looking to do as a result of it as well.
That's yeah, and I would also just say as an extension of that, sorry, I was laughing at this comment. And yeah, so we apologize for any trauma associated with uscis.gov. We understand how difficult that can be. There may also be an instance where maybe it's possible that some of your PDFs have baked in images or anything like that. That can also expand. But again, support.visalaw.ai. We're happy to troubleshoot for you and work you through all of those documents anytime there's an issue that pops up that seems to be problematic for you. So absolutely.
So a few other things that I have the ability to do on this step is I do have the ability to group documents manually. So I can select on a few documents here and create a group. This is going to group these 3 documents together in a single exhibit, and I have the ability to provide that group with a name here. But I also have the ability to just select all the documents in this list and organize this entire list using AI here as well. If I use this option, it is going to intelligently order that list of documents, and it's going to group those documents appropriately as well. And right on cue, we see that those groups are created. The documents have been ordered appropriately, and AI did that first pass edit. And from here, I have the ability to edit the naming conventions of each group. I can rearrange these groups, take documents out of groups, et cetera, et cetera. Anything that AI does here, I have the ability to edit, to reverse, but I can lean on AI to do a lot of the initial organizing for me. And lastly, on this step, I do have the ability to rename files. So if I were to click into a file here and select on it, I can just rename the file by hand, but I can also rename the file using AI, using this rename using AI button. And this is going to search through the content of the document and provide that document with a new name. It's worth noting that it's not taking the prior name into account when renaming the document. It's just going to look at the content and provide a new name based on the content of that document. I will quickly show that we do also have the ability just to download the petition bundle from this step as well. The end result, as I mentioned, is going to be the entire petition packet for this case that includes the cover letter. But in the event that I already had a cover letter for this case, I do have the ability at this step to just go ahead and download the index of exhibits and the list of evidence here. So again, if I didn't need a cover letter for whatever reason, I have the ability to download just the evidence here as well. We do, in our process type list that we reviewed at the start of the call, we do have a process type labeled petition assembly that you can utilize if you're only working towards that exhibit list petition packet. The petition assembly process type does not have a cover letter associated with it. But obviously, we're working towards the H-1B petition packet, including the cover letter. So we're going to pick up where we left off. Once we have my exhibit list reviewed and everything is in the appropriate order here, I'll click next, and it's going to work us towards the final step here, which is finalizing the draft prior to reviewing the petition. So on this next screen, I have the ability to select the specific sections I want to be included in this cover letter. So in the event I was not using every section I had available to me, I do have the ability to pick and choose those sections. But for demo purposes, we're simply going to select them all. And this is where I'm going to review my case details. I'll take a step back and say that drafting within Visalaw from process type to process type is going to look almost identical for the whole, for each individual process type. This case details step is really the one step in the process that looks different from process type to process type. Obviously, the case details you would include in an asylum case are going to look very different than an employment-based petition. So this is going to be the one screen that looks different. as we go through drafts. Most of this information is going to be pulled in for us from the supporting documents, but I'm going to come in and put in my attorney name, my title, and I'll just confirm that all these case details were pulled in accurately so I can come in and change anything that I need to. But once I've reviewed my case details, we'll click next. And this is the last step. So these are my document settings. These are the same settings that we saw when we downloaded the petition bundle a minute ago. It will ask me how I'd like to refer to my documents for the purpose of citation. We'll call them exhibits. We would like to include an index at the end of this document, so we'll click yes, and we're going to title that the index of exhibits. We do have the option to annotate the exhibit list or provide a short summary of all the supporting documents. We're going to go ahead and click yes for demo purposes, but you do have that option here. And then a very important step within the drafting process is to upload your own template and utilizing that template when finalizing your draft. If you had a template saved for an H-1B, you would click use my own template, and I would select on that template from this drop-down list. This is going to use a previously written H-1B cover letter for your tonality, your style of writing. That way you can kind of keep that same flavor of the way that you write as you draft your H-1Bs and your other process types moving forward. But we're going to use our system default template for today. We do have a couple of pricing options. We won't go through all that today, but you can either pay for drafts as you go or look at our pro plan, which is going to provide you with an allotment of 10 drafts per month at a base cost. So depending on if you want a more, I guess more of a higher volume set price, we offer that package, but we also offer a pay-as-you-go package. Feel free to connect with us. We'd love to walk you through the pricing options for drafts. But we see here that that draft is created for us. It is now launched. The AI is processing that draft. It'll typically take about 2 to 10 minutes for that draft to complete. But this morning we went ahead and walked through using the same supporting documents in H-1B. So we're going to use that for demo purposes today. So we're going to click into this completed draft. And we have two options. We can either view this draft from the view mode. We can also annotate the draft from the view mode if I'm working on this with a team and needed to mark this draft up. But if I flip this into the edit draft mode, this is going to provide us with a rich text editor. I do have the ability to edit this draft just like I was in Word without having to download it into Word first. That's probably a good point to pause. Margot, I see your question. Where to download your drafts if they're not yet, or if they're not available in the drop-down menu yet. I want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly. To be able to view the draft, it does have to get to draft complete first. You'll see the one that we generated is still generating. We would not be able to download it until it gets to the draft complete status. But once it is under draft complete, I could come in here and when I can click it into the edit draft mode. If I just wanted to simply download it, I have the ability to use this download button here, and I can choose to download it into a Word file or a PDF. So you'll use this download button here. You'll just need to make sure that the draft is complete prior to downloading the draft. I hope that answers your question. Margot, we may want to connect with you to make sure that it's both working properly and you have the right steps in front of you. So we can connect with you offline to make sure that you know how to download the draft if it's not working for you today. And another good question coming in. So are motions to reopen / reconsider and appeals included among the processes? Yes and no. So we do have motions to reopen as a supported process type as of today. You do have the ability to draft motions to reopen. Motions to reconsider are coming very soon. So be on the lookout for an upcoming webinar for motions to reconsider. And then appeals, we are working on appeals as well, but we do have a way to use our document Q&A and prompting functionality to draft appeals. So regardless of what you're looking to draft, we can definitely help you if you want to connect with us, and we can kind of walk you through that process as well. One last thing I'll mention as we start to wrap up here is we do have the ability to redraft this functionality from here. So if I were to select on specific text, I can click AI redraft, and this is going to only redraft the specific text I selected, and it will allow me to provide it with redrafting instructions. But the end result of what we've been working through this whole time is going to be to bundle the petition packet. So we'll wrap up with this. It's just downloading the petition bundle here. And this is providing us with the one PDF that includes the cover letter here, which in this scenario is just over a little over 19 pages in this scenario. It's also including the index of exhibits. This time we did opt into the annotated document list. And it will also include all of the evidence in the same petition packet here. So we'll kind of wrap up with this, but it's worth noting in a matter of 15 minutes or so, we went from just a folder of supporting documents that we received from a client for an H-1B case, and we now have what should be a really solid rough draft of an H-1B petition packet ready to go, ready for our team to review and hopefully submit in a much faster process than if we were to walk through this by hand. So I'll kind of continue to scroll down. Looks like we do have some questions coming in that we're more than happy to address, but I'll kind of slowly scroll down here so we can get an idea of what this looks like. And as Ian mentioned in the comments, we're more than happy to send this output over to you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do also have a question here, Tyler, a really important one as far as it goes for security and attorney-client privilege. The question is, do we at Visalaw AI have the ability to see what you all upload? And can you talk a little about security and compliance with state bar rules? Excellent question, Raheem. Yeah, Tyler, do you want to go ahead? I'm going to also pull up our security page while you start that answer.
Absolutely. So it's a great question, and honestly, one that you should be asking every AI vendor that you're looking at or working with. We do abide by a strict no data retention policy. So the information that you're putting into the system is not being retained for any purpose outside of that immediate task. It also means the AI is not training on your data. So Visalaw, to answer your question, is meant, it is utilizing enterprise grade security and data retention policies. The data you put in, no matter where you are in Visalaw, is not being used for any purpose. It's not being used to train any models. So throughout the system, you are free to use client data, confidential information without worrying about breaking the attorney-client privilege.
Yes, and that's an excellent point, Tyler. And I know we're just over time, but this is a really important point to hammer home, and one that we've been messaging quite a bit to immigration attorneys for the reasons that it protects you and it protects your client. There's a lot of people right now who, as you learn to understand these AI tools and as much value as they provide, it's easy to use maybe these free softwares and use those for all sorts of things, asking questions, research, all of the above. Is really, really important that you keep yourself and your client from uploading any confidential information into especially these free or even the $20 paid versions of these frontline AI products, despite the temptation of like, oh, this is really cheap, we could use this for that. The reason that Visalaw is built the way it is for that enterprise grade security. There's data and privacy built in. We're SOC 2 Type 2 certified. You should be looking at for any vendor that you're working with, unless you have an enterprise grade agreement, which is a contract between you and the person that you're working with, whatever provider that may be. That is the only way that you are going to be able to protect your attorney-client privilege in this and use AI systems. So yeah, extremely important question. We also have an overview of that on our blog, Hepner versus United States. It's a recent thing with AI and all of that. So anyway, get off my soapbox there, but a very, very important question and a very, very important thing for everybody to think about, whether you go with Visalaw AI or not. Just protect yourselves, protect your clients.
Absolutely.
And when you're using Visalaw AI or AI in general. Yeah, so thank you guys so much. Thank you, Margo. We appreciate that. And we will circle back with you to make sure that you can get 10 H-1Bs done. It sounds like there's some things that we can help streamline for you as well. So we'll reach out for that. We appreciate everybody. We thank you for your time joining us today. If you are not a current Visalaw subscriber, the best next step you can take is to get a one-on-one demo. And to do that, you can scan this QR code just above my head, or you can reach out to us directly. I put my email in the chat as well. That's the best next step. Figure out the workflows, talk to Tyler, talk to Josh, talk to Will, talk to Jack, and they'll be able to work with you, figure out exactly what package you may need. You can look at our pricing page. Everything's on our website. Again, we hope to see you on Thursday as we unveil Visalaw 2.0 and you get your first look at what our whole product is going to look like moving forward. And yeah, outside of that, Tyler, I think that's pretty much it. This was a really fun one, and we got some really great questions.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, again, if you have follow-up questions, do reach out. We look forward to hearing from you. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good one.